We need to understand that the youngsters carry a good energy and their energy is contagious. And we want the people to understand it's also okay to take their views, ask them to participate, ask them also to be with us. And that's how the change will take place.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Bloom. My name is Irani. I'm founder and CEO of Bloom. Today we have a very dynamic personality on Bloom, and we have completed 27 months of online talk shows. And welcome to the new Bloom in 2023, all of you. I would introduce my co-founder and co-host Dr. Neeta Mhatre Mishra. She's also founder of Reach Out, and she takes care of 360 degrees mental wellness. And over to you, Dr. Neeta, to introduce our dynamic personality.
Thank you very, very much. And wherever and however, all the people, first of all, warm welcome to Bloom. And again, as we have promised that we will be maintaining our talk shows every Sunday, and we take the liberty to disturb you with all the vital information. So again, we have a very young, dynamic, a founder, CEO of the social media Dissect. And when I was just going through the profile, it's a big, vast profile with a numerous amount of knowledge, a numerous amount of working. And also the best part, what I understand about the generation millennial is they are very grounded. They are very courteous. They are really very helpful. And they are always there whenever and however we want them. So I would not like to talk about Aleena myself, because maybe I might titrate some things, but definitely would love Aleena to take this journey and let us know from where did she start and where has she reached. So all over to you, Aleena, and a warm welcome to the Bloom 125th talk show of this Sunday Bloom.
Thank you so much. That was such a lovely introduction. I'm very excited to be here and to be, I think, amongst the youngest, to be speaking to everybody here. And I'll start with telling about my journey. And I think that this session is going to be more into what I have experienced so far, so everybody can get an understanding. I basically started with doing social media. I actually started working when I was 16 years old. I always was very, very ambitious. I did various multiple businesses, and a lot of them failed. A lot of them didn't work. This a lot of people don't know because that's not out in the public. But I did various different things because I think when you're young, you should experiment, do a lot of things, figure out what you like, what you don't like. And then I got a job into social media. And from day one, I figured out that this is what I really enjoy doing. And 2 years after doing the job, actually, I started as a small Instagram page, which is why today we're talking about small to big and how change is started through small differences that you create. So I started as an Instagram page. And at that time, I think everybody told me you have only two options. One is either you get a job in another bigger agency or you start your own agency. That was the realm of digital marketing if you have that knowledge. And I said, both of which I don't want to do. So I'm going to create a stream of my own. And I said, I really like researching. I really like seeing what is happening in the market and in the industry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about what others are doing. So it was like a sort of a review that we're going to do, like how you do movie reviews, like that I'm going to do social media reviews. And nobody at that time understood why I was doing this and what impact am I going to create by doing this. So I would go take, for example, if there was Baskin Robbins, I'll take a Baskin Robbins post and I'll be like, here's what is good about it. Here's what is, what you can improve over here. And I would do that for all the brands. And when I started doing that, I did it with no intention of, I don't know where it's going to reach. I'm going to do it as a hobby. I'm going to see, where this leads me. But I had a lot of interest in doing that, interest in seeing what to do. So I started covering a lot of brands. And then I think after a few posts, brands started reaching out to me and said that, can you also talk about us? Okay, I was like, this is getting somewhere. And I had no followers at that time. There were like maybe 1,000 and I had not even revealed that it was me. So the interesting part was that nobody had any idea that it was a girl. Everybody addressed it as if, hi sir, hello sir, what are you doing? So all of those kind of questions. And then I was like, oh, there's so much disparity that they're thinking that a woman could not even be possible in their mind to be running this. From there, we grew the page to 150,000 followers. We have 2 lakh readership across on our social and website, etc. And then we also run an agency. That has been very interesting up and down journey of social media dissect.
I think this is a very huge plethora era and understanding, and the best word which you used was disparity. People have their own ways of understanding what are stereotypes, and let's be all ready to that. We are ready to face the stereotypes and we are ready to break the stereotypes. So starting the session and going ahead, over to you, Payal, and we can start the questionnaire with Aleena and understanding more in depth that how this journey, of course, the journey has not been very straight because none of the journeys are straight, right? We always have some speed breakers, we have some very flat roads, we also have some curvy roads. So understanding a lot of people would have been part of this journey, a lot of people would have not been part of this journey right now. So there will be a lot of ups and downs. So let's understand how did Aleena tackle this ups and downs and still being smiling the way she is.
Thank you, Dr. Neeta. So, Aleena, my question to you is why small changes are better than big ones?
Again, all the questions I'll answer in my experience. Whenever I've tried to do something really big on the go, like for example, I'll set myself to like, okay, I'll lose 10 kgs. And then you know that you're going to start doing it and then you're going to leave it because you set the target so high. The change you want to make is so big. And then you're going to do it for a while and you won't be consistent. And consistent is the key to get to where you want to. So I actually read this book also. And it said that you need to start with doing small things and eventually you'll see the results coming through. So you don't set yourself for failure. So I think that if you start with saying that, okay, I'm just going to the gym every day, you're not going to see result on the first day, on the second day, on the third day, on the fourth day. But at some point after 2 months, after 3 months, you're going to see it. But if you say, oh, directly I'm going to reach after what's going to happen at the second, third month, then you're not going to be able to achieve your goals and dreams. And that happens for anything that you want to do. So now I make sure that everything I'm doing, I'll make small steps of what I can achieve. So it doesn't have to be, oh, I have to reach this big number, or I have to do this much of business, or I have to hit this much of a target. I'll go small because we know that it's going to take some time. And I actually tell this to younger people who are joining the social media and digital, because when you're young, you want to do big things and you want to do this and that, but you have to realize that everything has a journey and you can't reach from 1 to 10 without going through the rest. So that's how I think it makes a big difference to go from small steps.
That makes sense. Even Bloom started with baby steps and it started with small and it's now blooming. So
Yes.
consistency is also the key. How does change make us stronger?
Okay, so I believe that, growth only comes from, if you try to do something different that you are currently doing. Now, I'll give you an example of a lot of people that I have seen, for example, and the ones that are growing, you'll see something different about them is that they don't like to stick to the norm of how they are. So when I was growing, for example, I had two different set of friends. One kind of friends would do the same daily repeated habits every single day. Like they had a structure to their life and that's how they were born and brought up. And of course, they are growing in their way, but it's slower. If you see the other set of people, we have this thing that we're noticing where they are used to uncomfortable situations. Like, for example, they had some tragedy or they had to go through something very uncomfortable in life at a younger age. And that similar thing happened with me. I don't like to be comfortable all the time is because I've grown up seeing a lot of ups and downs. I've seen a lot of struggle in life in terms of like family and all. And that's what gave me the sense of hard work and gave me the sense of, okay, I'm not going to stay inside this bubble. So that kind of helps you to grow. And that is why it's very important, because the only way that you'll create an impact if you want to go long term is if you are not in certain circumstances all the time. If you don't make a change, and it's going to be very uncomfortable, it's easier said than done. But if you don't make that change, the impact won't
So
happen.
there is a saying, be the change you want to see. So well expressed, Leena. How do you create a positive impact? So as you said, you had your own part of struggles and everybody has their struggles. So in that, keeping in mind today's scenario after the COVID and everything people are coming back to normal. How do you create a positive impact in such an environment?
Again, this goes back to what we are talking about in general, right? How do you create an impact is first of all, start small. Again, like I said, if you make a really big goal, all of us have really big goals. Start, and the step to it is that you start by doing small little things. So that's the first thing I would suggest, is that you start small. Again, if you want to create an impact of any kind to anybody, you really have to be yourself. And which means that, see, all of us have something unique about ourselves. Now, either you can think about, oh, this is not good about me, or you can think about, this is good about me, and I'm going to use this and create an impact. So, for example, I was not very good at education. I was not very good at getting the highest marks in college and school. And that would set me back. And I would think that, I have these really big dreams. Will I be able to achieve it because I don't have the marks? But then at the end of the day, you really have to just believe that you can create an impact and that you can. And it starts from there. If you believe it in your head that I am going to be able to make a difference, you'll then find the way that you can. I could, for the longest time, not figure out, I want to create an impact, but how do I create? But then I kept that thought aside and I said, okay, let me just believe in myself that one day it will happen. And then you'll get the spots of how you can navigate through and find. And another thing I think, like I was saying about being yourself, is that since all of us are so unique, it doesn't have to be that all of us have to be good at some one line to create an impact. It has to be that you have to be self-aware, find out through working and through your journey, what is it about you that can impact others, can impact the world around you. Once you figure that out, it's going to be much easier. For example, while working with my team, I would realize that just me speaking to them would motivate them a lot. And that doesn't come from a lot of leaders. They'll come, they'll give their work, they'll go. And then I realized that I have this talent where if I talk to somebody, even if their work is average, I can get better work out of them by just motivating them, by just giving them words of kindness and words of you can do it. And I've seen the productivity go so much higher for all of them. And that's what made me realize that this is a small impact that I'm making, but I can. And this is what that I'm going to do in the bigger way, larger for my audience or for, later for however it goes. But this is like my strength that I'm going to work upon.
Very beautifully expressed. Starts from believing in yourself and then creating that small changes, and which will have a big impact. Why small changes are better than big ones?
Okay, so like I mentioned before, if you go for a higher goal, while you can have that in your mind, but if you say, okay, I'm going to do that and it's going to be really big, it's going to be difficult for you to act upon it consistently, which is why it's important that you make those baby steps towards your goal. For example, even in our relationships, and relationships are hard, whether it's with your parents, whether it's with your team, or whether it's with your partner, for example, it's difficult. It's not that all the time it's going to be rosy and for everybody. Now the role over here is that you have to be patient. And secondly, if you want to be able to see a change happening, for example, with your parents, you want to get along better, there's an age difference. This is for more younger people. And what happens is that you need to be patient and give yourself that time to understand that if you want them to think something, it's going to take a while for them to change how they are thinking. In terms of our generation, in terms of if you are married and you have a partner, there's going to be different thoughts, different processes to live and to live your life. So what you're going to do in that situation again is make small changes to your relationships or to your everyday activities that will then make an impact in the future. And it always does. We might not see the result at that time, but it will happen later. Same thing is when in the first year on Instagram, I had 4,000 followers and they were just not growing from there. I think at the end of the first year, I said, okay, this is not a business. Nobody's interested in this. I might have to not do it. And I was very demotivated after 1 year, only having 4,000 followers. And then I said, no, I cannot fail one more time. So I'm just going to continue doing this. And I gave myself that push. And the second year, we went from 4,000 to 80,000. And now that I think about it, if that small little changes that I was not making, small efforts that I was not making would not have led to such a big community today, or if I gave up at the end of first year, all of this wouldn't happen. And so that's what today I tell everybody else is that don't give up on your dreams. Make those small changes, however you think that it's not making an impact, because eventually it will.
Be out of your comfort zone where that then you evolve, the change
Yeah.
happens. What are the challenges of change, Aleena?
Very interesting question, because like I said, it's easy to say that, oh, like, let's change. For example, if you tell somebody who's living in Bombay all their life and you tell them you have to go to another country and move over there, and I know a lot of people who have moved out of the country, it's easy to say, oh, fancy life and this is better and all, but it's very difficult to actually be there and change your whole surrounding and your life. Then I've seen a lot of mothers who it's very natural for a woman to have a child and take care and everything, but that change is so overwhelming and so much that except that person, nobody understands how difficult it is to have such a big change in your life. So I think the why we are so skeptical about change is that, first of all, we have preconceived notions, which means that we believe, because of what we have seen, that this is the only way this will happen. For example, sometimes it's negative, of course, sometimes it's positive. So we think that now if I'm doing this, oh, I had done this before, now this is going to happen. And usually that's not the case. You never know what is going to happen from the new change that is going to come about in your life, right? So, for example, if you had to move houses, now you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to have this discomfort. My house is like this, and then I have to do that. Or if you have to, move into a bigger office, or you have to take bigger clients, or like, oh, it's going to be overwhelming, because that's what you have already been told that it's going to be like that. But if you go with a clear mind and you say, okay, I'm going to see, I'm going to try out what is going to happen, and you hope for the best and think positively, then that barrier becomes positive for your life. Another thing is that a lot of this personal opinion is that a lot of us have been told that in society, this is the way things work. And that becomes a huge barrier for us to make a change. We think that, oh, this is what women have to do, when that's actually not true. Or this is what men have to do. They have to be, for example, providers. Women have to be caretakers. But it's not always that you have to stick to those only. While that may be something you like doing, that's something that you are seeing around you, it's not necessary that women cannot be providers while taking care of everybody around, or that men cannot be people who are going to be caring around them while they are also providing, and maybe someone at the moment not providing. So all of this has been told to us, and I think that's a big barrier for us to make a big change, is because you are told that you have to do this. I had many people in the initial years of my business say that, oh, it's a small business, oh, you're doing it from home. I'm like, no, you wait for the small business to become very big, because it's going to be, why should I restrict myself and say that, oh, I have a family, so I'm going to stick to it, or I have a home to take care of, which I do. That doesn't mean that I cannot take care of a successful business. And so we are told by society, and we have to at that point believe in ourselves and be like, no, I'm not going to. And I think another barrier is also when we do something that is making a change in our life, we also don't want to be answerable. And when you're making a change, you have to be answerable. You have to, not only to yourself, to everybody around you also, you have to be, that, okay, I've done this, I've taken on the responsibility, I've taken a change. Now, whether good or bad, it is your decision. So you have to be willing to take it. We like to be in our comfort zone and be like, okay, this is only how it's going to go. But if you really want to change something, you have to let go of it, and you have to be answerable then for your choices.
Aleena, I mean, you are such an inspiration for me, at least being much younger and keeping so many experiences and sharing with us. So thank you so much. And my another question to you is, how much can we really make an impact in our world? Being consistent, believing in ourselves, taking small steps. How much really can we make an impact in our world?
Okay, so again, when I was much younger, I would think that I'm going to change the world, like everybody who's young and ambitious. And over the years, I realized that it's not that I have to make a change with 1 million people or with 1 million followers, or only I'm going to create an impact when I have a whole stadium full of people to address, because that is my eventual goal, right? But I realized that instead of, again, thinking so big and going right there, which is going to take time, we also don't realize that in our daily lives, we impact so many people and we create a change for so many people by just being over there, doing our daily tasks, right? So we are going to meet 100 people in our daily lives. And if you do something nice for somebody on your daily activity, if you motivate somebody, if you help somebody, if you financially help somebody, whatever it is that you do, you're making already an impact. And we don't give that much importance to these small things, which is why people don't do it enough. Like, if you knew how much impact you can create in somebody else's life just by one-on-one, you can help somebody. Say a friend is going through something and you just sit there and listen to them. It is creating an impact. We don't realize that. It doesn't have to be a stadium of people full for you to realize that you're making an impact. And that is why you should start small. You should be like, oh, my friend is going through a problem, or I can say financially help somebody, or maybe I can help something grow. Whatever it is that you are deciding in your field to do, if you just make that small one-on-one impact also, it's going to change into something really big, because you're maybe making somebody else's life much better by just giving them, say, words of appreciation, or maybe just listening, or maybe just doing something kind for a stranger is also something we don't realize has such a big impact. And this I've realized over the years, because I would always be like, oh, I'm going to have to motivate a million people, and it doesn't have to be like that. Even if I'm doing it for 3-4 people and it's creating an impact in their life, means I've done my job.
Well said, Aleena. There is my favorite quote of Mother Teresa, and over in Bloom also we follow it, all our co-founders. She said, I alone can't change the world, but I can still cast that little one stone which can create ripples around the world. So we start with small, we start with ourselves, and we start with one person, and then we create the positive impact. Give me 3 benefits of making change and 3 benefits of that change which has an impact.
Okay, so I think that the first benefit I think of making a change is that usually it makes you more disciplined in life, in yourself and in your environment, in your lifestyle, everything that you decide you want to change. For example, you don't want to eat junk food anymore. You have made that decision of making that change in your life, right? You're going to be more disciplined in your life. You say, today I'm going to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning every day, instead of, say, somebody who's waking up at 11. So you're going to be more disciplined that way. If you're saying that I'm going to start a business, for business or starting a business also, you need a lot of discipline. So anything in your life that is going to make a change, you have to know that is going to make you more disciplined, and that is going to be a huge benefit for you, because obviously to be disciplined is very beneficial. Another thing I believe is that if you make a change, you're becoming better than a lot of people around you in whatever ways, because it is a huge benefit for you to have over the others who don't have the discipline, who don't have the motivation, who are not making any changes. And you can get ahead in life in a lot of things by just making that small thing that I'm going to change today. Another thing, and the most important benefit I have seen of change, is that it makes you very self-aware. Means you will come to know, oh, what is your boundary? Or you'll come to know, oh, this is my limit. I can maybe push through that. Last year, for example, I said that I'm scared of driving and I'm petrified of driving. Okay. And I said, okay, but I'm going to get over my fear because I have to. And every day, while, you're holding the steering wheel, I get so scared to go on the road. I had a huge fear of maybe like hitting people. I would get very scared that I'm going to hurt somebody, and I don't want to hurt somebody. But every day I consciously pushed myself to sit in the car and have the driver sit next to me and, go over there. And I realized that I am not actually scared. I can. And today I am able to drive the car, and I'm driving so much as if there's no end to it. Said to myself that I became self-aware. I thought this is something that I could not do, but I can. So today, if somebody tells me that, you cannot do this or you cannot have this, I will tell them that, I don't think that I am scared of anything, and I don't think that there's something I can't do, which makes me like aware. And that is a huge benefit you can have. Means you are able and you can achieve so much. You just come to know if you make a small change.
Wow, so inspiring and beautiful. We must have a masterclass offline session with you, Dr. Neeta. Let's brainstorm with Aleena. And we have a very dignitaries today, Mr. Harish Mehta, Brenda Mendes. They all are senior and most experienced. Sir, kind words from you, please.
Just a few thoughts. You have got great energy, Aleena.
Thank you.
You carry enthusiasm and positivity with you. I only want you to look at the surroundings you are in. I don't warn you, but I also want you to be conscious. Surroundings is what you are required to create what helps you become better every day. And you have a choice today to create a new surrounding, new set of people, and create the community you love to serve. The word is love to serve, love to give, and celebrate together. If you can keep these three words together with discipline and enthusiasm and positivity, I don't know how young you are, but you're surely very young as of today. You are much less than half my age. I learned it much later in life at 52. Today I'm 64. I took the wisdom later on, but you have the wisdom right now. Spread it to the right people who are hungry. Don't chase the wrong people. Let them go. Create your surroundings because I see the power in your voice. Make your voice so powerful that people come to you for clarity and create that joy in them that there's something to give. And every day you keep giving. 365 days of giving is special. And I've chosen this year, all of you are listening. I am special in 2023. Today is my 8th day that I am special. And when you keep reminding yourself, you're going to go a long way. Love the energy. Love you, Aleena. Happy to connect and happy to serve together. Bless you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your kind words. And coming from you, it makes me very happy.
Thank you, Haris sir. Anybody from audience who have questions for Aleena? Vruddhi, Neha, Abhijit sir.
So maybe we can just take it ahead, and meanwhile we will have questions which will be parked by our audience. So definitely, Aleena, the entire half an hour was a complete mesmerizing, a very matured millennial coming out with so much positivity and understanding why there is need of spreading this small little changes. Now I could really make it out why the title was made, that the small tweaks. And I think that small tweaks really matter a lot. And these small tweaks become a bigger. And definitely people, I don't know whether they are aware or no, definitely the people who have read your bio, they know that how you have served Western, how you have served the amazing big brands like even the St. Regis. Definitely we are seeing a lot. But main thing what is still not is aware with the people here is you are also an author of a beautiful and a wonderful book, that is The Switch. Can you tell our audience something about this book and being an author? Because again, being an author does just not come, ki I want to be an author. There would have been some journey, there would have been some thought, and that is where you thought ki okay, yes, I can do this again in some way which will benefit the audience. So something about The Switch.
Yes, so I wrote the book actually when I was 19. I started writing. I am 28 today, but I started writing at 19. Like I said, I was always very ambitious. I got out of school and I was like, okay, I need to do something. And back then, I used to love writing. I love writing now also. And I said, I realized the power that words can have over so many people. And I decided to write fiction at that time. And I said, I'm going to do storytelling. I loved writing. And so at 19, I started writing. I remember everyone around me being like, you're so young to write a book. I said, oh, that's great. Then I'm going to write more because you said that I am young. And the fact that, there are not a lot of young authors, because people think that only when you are a certain age can you be able to give that knowledge. I said, no, maybe look at it from a perspective of a young person. And it was a huge accomplishment also for me to get selected by a publisher and have them edit the book to, sell. So I think it was a great journey back then. It really kickstarted my career. And I really enjoyed writing the book. I think I have people today also tell me that they've read the book and that they really enjoy it. And hopefully next book is going to be more about business related, something non-fiction is what I have in mind.
So wonderful. The key areas which I'm seeing right from the starting is you have been very consistent in doing whatever you have been doing, and you are also very comfortable in the uncomfortable. So I think we all have to understand that it is always okay to be uncomfortable, and being uncomfortable is somewhere where you are only challenging your own self, you are challenging your own beliefs. It's not to prove it to anyone, or it's not there to take some standard tag from anyone, but it's all about improving ourselves, and improvising is the only thing which will take ahead. But why did you come with an idea of, as you mentioned, you were writing reviews of the products, this, and as per you, but what exactly came into your space that you entered in the space of only digitalization?
So I love to see what is the future and what is going to take forward happen in the future. So currently also I'm working in the Web3 space, which is, for example, NFTs and metaverse and things that nobody nobody understands. I'm studying and reading it because I know that this is something that is going to happen, going to come in the future. So from trading cryptocurrencies to working with brands on their metaverse experiences, I love working on things that are going to be more futuristic. So 10 years earlier, obviously I saw that, nobody, I think I had clients who said that, Facebook, who's going to see and why should we create an ad over there? Instagram is for teenagers and they post pictures. What will we do over there at that time? And I had to sit and tell them that your audience is actually putting pictures over there. So you should also be putting pictures over there. At that time, a lot of clients did not understand, but the ones that did, we made a huge impact on them. And I really enjoyed it because that's something that naturally came well to me, right? I would also post pictures. So I would also enjoy posting pictures for brands. When you make your work, your, extension of what you like doing, you become better at it. So when I saw that, if I upload something on YouTube for a brand, or if I'm uploading something on Instagram, I'm, on Facebook, so many of us use Facebook. And at that time, for a brand to be like, do this. And then I'm very inquisitive as a person. So I would go and see how to run an ad, how to create an ad, and I would do all of those things myself. And then I realized that this is going to be really good for brands, and which is why I got into the digital space. And I got in early and said that, I'm going to learn this before everybody starts talking about it. And then every brand I know is going to be on social like it is today. At that time, people were not, while I was pushing them. And today I do the same thing where I say that, eventually we are going to have metaverse experiences. They're not understanding. There are lots of brands who say, Arey, this is not going to happen. It's 10 years away and all of that. But I tell them the importance that, today we're looking at one screen and tomorrow we are going to be in that world and we are going to be experiencing and sitting with each other and all. So we're studying all of that. I love doing like things that are futuristic and things that are going to happen. That made me really get into digital. And while I was doing a job also, I remember this one thing that made me really an entrepreneur is that I didn't stick to what I was told. Means my profile was doing social media, but I was very interested in photography also. So I learned a bit of that. I was very interested in graphic designing. So I'm not a graphic designer, but I understand how graphic designing works. I understand how much time it takes to edit a video, for example. And I did all the other things. And without obviously my boss is telling me that you have to do it. I just had an interest. And that really helped me start my company because then I knew that, okay, here's the departments I need. Here are the people I need. Here's how much salaries I need to pay. All of that became easier because I was so enthusiastic about learning everything. Like I ran Facebook ads for St. Regis when I was 21 or 22 years old. And that gave me the courage also to be able to go forward and do this. I also remember that when I was so young, I was 21, again, 21, 22. I was in a room full of people who were men who were 75, 65, who were running the business end of the St. Regis, obviously. And I had to sit and convince them that you have to do shorter videos because people don't have attention span. So they wanted to put long videos. They wanted to show the whole hotel and everything. So I had to sit and convince them that, this is going to work for you, the shorter videos, because people don't have that much attention span. Facebook has released a report that in 3 seconds, people you count as a view after 3 seconds. And this was very initial, so long back, right? They couldn't understand, but I said, give me a shot, let me try it out. So I was very intimidated because I was very young and there were people who were so much more experienced than me. And I was telling them how to do their social media. So, but when they did it, we saw the results becoming much better. We saw that actually we got more views on the shorter videos than we got on a 1-minute video. So that really gave me a lot of confidence. And the fact that, okay, if I'm young also, I may have answers and opinions that are going to be impactful and are going to be good.
And I think those answers and those questions also made you ready for the other next set of questions and answers. Because we know that when it comes from a very experienced mind, the experienced mind has a different set of questions. And when you want to try it out something very new, so how to convince that and bring that bridge, I think it's really very challenging, but it's also adventurous and very good to work with because you have a mixed batch of emotions, where you have people who are experienced, "Arey yaar, ye shayad gadbad kar degi," and and there you have to convince and tell them it's not good, but this is what is going to happen. And I think that is where we need to understand, that is where metaverse is going to take us in this entire journey of future. And again, coming to the future but taking something from your past, you have also been an amazing TED speaker. So you've been on the TED platform, and what actually again encouraged you, because I know that the millennials have a wonderful juice. I work with the millennials and they really keep me so happy, healthy and cheerful. So understanding that that is there, but what inspired you to take that idea to the TED?
So when I was approached by TED, honestly, my first thought was like, no, I'm too young. And no, how will I do this? And all of those questions. And then I said, no, but I'm getting such a big opportunity. So that I learned while the TED talk came, that your first thought may be negative and you have to sit down and kind of change it to be a more positive one. And I said that no, if such a big platform has approached me, then I'm going to talk about, my journey, however small it is, however impactful it is. I've got the opportunity. So I'm going to, talk. At that time, I was not even good at public speaking. I had not learned. And then I realized that my business skills are not the only ones I need to improve. I also need to improve my soft skills. And that's what I'm good at. So I should learn and invest time into that also, not just, you're doing courses to learn what you have to do. You have to also do things you're not in your realm of doing. For example, I have Binaisha, who got us connected. She does personality development and training for me. And this is something very unique for everybody. Like, why do you need that? Like, I don't need it, but it makes me better, in whatever I'm doing. It's not necessary I'm doing a course on digital marketing to learn. This is also a course that will improve me. So I took up the TED talk. I was not such a good public speaker, but I realized that again, if you want to be good at public speaking, you have to start small. So I'm going to start and then I'm going to do it regularly so that eventually I become better. Because the first time I go on stage, I'm not going to be the most comfortable. I'm not going to be, and I was scared, and I would back out of, speaking in front of a lot of people, because you have that fear and you have that anxiety of talking to so many people. And then I was always in a room full of smarter people than me. So I would get a little uncomfortable. And then I realized that if I continuously keep doing, maybe if it's bad also in the beginning, a lot of times, it's going to one day become good. And that's what you need. So I put myself again in an uncomfortable situation to try to make this change. And TED was, I think, a start of that. And I had a lot of people again come to me after that also, that it was inspiring. I really wanted to talk about how a lot of people in my journey have told me that I can't do certain things. So I spoke about that. Like, I've grown up with people saying that, oh, you're a girl, you cannot do this, or, this is a big business idea, or this is something that, is little unrealistic for you to do. So a lot of people said no, and especially I had a lot of teachers who were not very encouraging, because I was not very good at studying. I was not very good at the education part of it. And that time I didn't know also what I'm good at and what I want to do. So I wasn't very good at studying and education. So I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to talk about how, in spite of, not being that good at school and college, I can still do well in life. I can still find out what I'm good at, because everyone's good at something, and then use it to enhance my career. So I did speak about that, and it was a good start and a good journey to my public speaking also.
So I think this is again a very challenging thing, where you also know that you were not very good in your curriculum. Like, the parents, they basically emphasize study, padho, the gradings and the grades which is being seen today. I think this is a very, very bigger and a very important message for even the parents who are there on our Facebook Live, who are seeing this, as well as to the teachers. Motivation is the key. And as Aleena, you had also mentioned that speaking words with kindness really matters. And when you tell that, yes, you can do the best. And as, Harish sir said that today is my 8th day of being the best. So I think this small little words, it's small, but it really has a wonderful, important impact to create in the world. And this is what impact which is happening. I would like you to give out some message, to our parents, because we are also seeing the millennial parents, the first generation millennial parents, who is like, I've just done this, I don't know, and who are completely with the Google search. Okay, this time tick. So I want something where you can give some good message, a thought-provoking message to the younger generation today, and also to the students who are there on the Facebook and who might later on see why you should not give up on your dreams, or why you should not get carried away when people tell ki tumse to nahi ho paye.
Okay, so to the parents, I want to say, because I've been on the other side only, is that even if your kid may not be good at something that you think they should be good at, it doesn't mean they're not good at anything. So I personally also believe that, and I'm talking about millennials and Gen Zs also today, because there might be parents of of younger kids. And what happens is that we think that, they're lazy. And I don't believe that anybody is lazy. It's just that we haven't found the thing that we love. Because I also had a phase where I would, say not do anything. I would wake up late and I would not have a routine and all of that. That phase was there. But that was only there because I did not know what I enjoy doing. Once I found out what I enjoy doing, nobody had to tell me to wake up early. I would get up with excitement. So until you find that, it's going to be difficult to, push them to do something. So it's better that instead of telling them, do this, do that, they should be more encouraging to find out what their child likes and enjoys doing, because that will give them the push. I think that also another thing that my parents let me have and I don't see around a lot is that usually parents are very, very protective in terms of you do this only, you do go here only. And my parents were not like that. They said, have all your experiences, but they would give us the good teaching, wherein this is the right thing, this is the wrong thing. They never said, don't do this, don't do that. They said, this is the correct thing to do. This is something that is going to cause trouble or going to be bad. And this is what happens if you do something like this. So that gave me a sense of, okay, I have that space to be able to have these different experiences. And I would have, as a kid growing up, I didn't have only a certain set of friends. I had a broad, I was never told that you can't have an older friend. So I would sit and talk to people who were 50-year-old. I would go spend time with a 2-year-old child. I would go to villages in India and talk to them also. There was no barrier. They were not very like, oh, this is not the right thing to do. I would go everywhere, talk to everybody. And that gave me a lot of experience. And I think that parents should not be like, oh, this is your cocoon. And because we want to be protective and we want to take care, that you don't let the child have their own journey, is what I would say to like the parents. And to students, from my own journey, I want to say that I have probably failed like a million times already. But today I can take that failure in a way better way because I have failed. So initially it will be very difficult. It will be, for example, when I was writing the book, I thought I'm going to sell I don't know how many million copies. And obviously that didn't happen. So I was a little heartbroken. And then I realized that it's not necessary that I have to sell a million copies. Even if I made an impact by change one person who's reading it, it was good. But when you're in that moment, you feel like, like this is not working out and it's over. After that, I moved on and I saw that I tried another business and, online store. It didn't work. I did not have the experience. I did not have that much of a motivation. So, I gave up at that time again. And then I said, you're not going to fail unless you're still trying, right? So I said to myself that I haven't failed if I'm going on. I failed if I will give up. So I did something else. And with these multiple failures, even today, there are products we release that don't work out. There are IPs we come out with that that we think audiences will love, but maybe they don't like it and it doesn't work and it is heartbreaking. But to the students, I want to say, don't give up on your dreams because something is not going to, because honestly, when we are young, we think right now, everything is supposed to happen now. If we want to achieve this now, if we've not got into a good college, it's all over. It really doesn't work like that. It really doesn't work. I'll give you an example. My brother, he applied everywhere. Very smart kid, very good at studies. He applied to all Bombay universities for getting his MBA entrance. And he was heartbroken when he didn't get anywhere. And he was on the verge of, I'm not doing it and this and that. And then next year, he got into IIM Ahmedabad, and nobody would have thought that would have happened for him. So if something doesn't go right and doesn't go well, it means that something better is written for you. And we don't understand that when we are young. We think that, it didn't work out, it didn't make sense, and we failed and all of those, but you have a long journey ahead of you. Don't think you're 23, 25, 19 means you have to achieve it at that time. I always thought that because I was very ambitious, I was like, I'm 25, not done anything yet. I'm 27, I've not done anything yet. It really, your life is very, very, very long. It's not going to matter in a few years that you failed in something long ago. It's going to matter that you kept trying. So I would say to the students to not give up because something went bad and take that as, something better is going to happen. If I didn't fail at my book didn't do as well, so today I am over here. So everything cumulatively is making sense today, and I'm sure today also what is happening will make sense 5 years later. So never give up.
I think this is really wonderful. And while seeing the time, it's already 1:15, 1:17. I would like to hand it over to Payal because there is a big announcement which Payal wants to make. And definitely, Aleena, thank you very, very much. First of all, for giving us really this small little tweaks and not ignoring the small little tweaks, which is really important. Consistency is the key, and it's okay to be uncomfortable because somewhere being uncomfortable will also show you that how you managed being so uncomfortable. So we can have people who are really blessed to have your entire maybe your unit, your people, they are really blessed that you are among them, a very inspiring leader. I would not use the word motivation because motivation is very small lived, but something which is inspiring is always which just goes on. So you are a very inspiring leader for them. And also the best thing is, whenever you do not understand anything, maybe that is not the right time, but it will definitely happen. So don't give up. And with this, don't give up, I hand it over to Payal. Payal, all yours.
Thank you, Dr. Neeta. Thank you, Aleena, for removing your valuable time on Bloom. Thank you, dear audiences. Our co-founders are there, Mr. Abhijit and Deepak. Premraj, sir. Any questions if you have, kindly unmute yourself. Meanwhile, I will announce there is some announcements to be made for our audiences. For the upcoming 2023 Bloom talk shows, Bloom invites speakers for as entrepreneurs, coaches, solopreneurs, stand-up comedians, trainers. So kindly connect with us at info@bloomworld.com. And very soon, our co-founder, Dr. Neeta, is having a session on visualization for the start of the year 2023. It is very important. So do enroll for us. And there is a special charge of $299. Kindly connect to me or to Dr. Neeta for this. And we look forward for you to enroll for this session. Aleena, one message for all our audiences, Bloom audiences, and we also look forward for further collaboration and for masterclass very soon offline.
Yes. So I think what I would like to say to everybody who's listening is, like I said, don't give up on your dreams. Don't think that there are any limitations to what you can do depending on your gender or depending on your age or depending on where you come from. I say this to everybody. It really doesn't matter where you come from, where you have been born and brought up, who are your parents. It doesn't matter. As long as you want to do something in life, you have the courage, you have the belief, and you think positively about the outcome that are going to happen, and you are going to be able to achieve anything that you want.
Thank you so much. And thank you, dear audiences. Look forward for another dynamic speaker next Sunday. Thank you, Aleena. I'll get in touch with you soon.
Thank you, everyone.